They are the one to tell us today, we are not patrolling Runda. We are patrolling Keleleshwa. So what you do? Runda waumie.
Sasa mimi nilishikangwa kivyangu. Nilikuwa tu Mamlaka road.
Officers managed to arrest 7 suspects and making a massive recovery of 8 firearms.
At the early 2000, 2001 up to 2004, police in Nairobi were battling to contain a rising number of criminal cases, which included rape, murders, and extreme robberies. Police finding it hard to neutralize a group of criminal gangsters who had Nairobi and its environs captured in daily crime, robberies, and as police improvised ways and tactics to unravel the men behind the criminalities, what they didn't know is that the gangsters they were looking for resided just a few meters from the city's biggest police station. It was until 2003 when the police finally found the breakthrough, and to the shock of the country, the group of criminal gangsters that had from the late 90s and early 2000s terrorized Kenya's capital city were students from the country's biggest university, and as elite police units struggled to hunt for gangsters, what they didn't know is that the university Mamlaka B hostels is where the hammering and all robberies and murders were planned and executed. Up until the second week of May 2003, gangsters were wreaking havoc in the city. Harrison Wafula, a former army major general, had been shot 3 times in the head as he made his way home in Gay Estate. Kiara Waithaka, a prominent Democratic Party official, had been shot dead as he entered his home in Loresho. Around the same time, 2 foreign tourists had been shot and killed. And as the parents slept easy at home, proud of their hard-working sons in the famed university, they were unaware that their sons were part of a notorious gang that terrorized Nairobi residents, living and operating right under the nose of everyone. This is the story of the famous Mamlaka gang, born and bred in the Mamlaka B Hall of the University of Nairobi's main campus. The gang consisted of 2 fourth-year students, Bernard Omondi, and another one named Babu HG, a third-year student, David Mutunyi, aka The Beast, and a fourth-year student, Butali. The remaining members were not students. George Mungai, aka Brown, sold mobile phones at an exhibition stall in the city. Gordon Onyango, aka Iron, lived in Nairobi's Eastlands area, and Victor Mulinge Mwendwa, aka Mengus, was an employee of the Tana River Development Authority. For 3 years, the gang evaded police dragnet, terrorizing city residents, and eventually their crimes stretched past Nairobi. At the time, one of the gangsters, Bernard Ouma, a fourth-year engineering student, was occupying room number 9 in the Mamlaka B Hall of Residence. He was known as the Amara, a man with the key to a deadly cache of arms that were later to be linked to a series of robberies in the city. Another gangster, Babu HG, operated from another cubicle in room 19 in Mamlaka B hostels.
I was taking education science. But unfortunately, because of the peer pressure and because of the life calamities, we had to indulge in some acts that actually led me to got involved in some of the robbery activities. The education facilities, nobody can realize that anything is taking place there. What happens is that such things are assumed.
Away from the public eyes, police had been trailing the university students they thought might be involved in the crimes. Days after a crime was conducted, they spotted a car they had been trailing make its way to Mamlaka Road. Had it not been for an epic gang member turned informer, the gang's reign of terror would have gone unchecked for a long time, and on that fateful day, police moved in and arrested 5 people, successfully rounding up the rest of the gang.
We had somebody whom we were actually working with in our gang. Let me call it a gang. So this guy, we demoted him because of his other behaviors. He could not cooperate well. So after we demoted him, he realized we have gone somewhere and we have successfully persevered into the game. So what he did is actually to give an alignment to the police.
On May 16, 2003, undercover detectives made their way to the hostels. They knocked on room number 9, where Bernard Ouma resided, but the door was locked. That night, the flying squad officers were on standby. Ouma, however, did not return to the hostels, but tried to make arrangements for the firearms in his room to be transferred to room 19, where another gangster, Babu HG, resided. The guards at the campus would later tell the police that Ouma requested them to move the guns for him from his cubicle to room 19 at a fee of 10,000 shillings, but they declined. Ouma would later find 2 other students who moved in the arms to room 19, but the police at the scene never captured or moved the firearms. The police raid in Mamlaka B Hall hostels in the University of Nairobi would mark an end of daily criminal robberies in Nairobi City, and once they struck into the Mamlaka B Hall compounds, nobody escaped.
Sasa mtu kama mimi nimetake 9 years hapo. Niliacha junior wangu akiwa na miaka ngapi? In fact junior wangu mdogo ndio niliacha wife yangu akiwa pregnant. Sasa amezaa. Mtu yuko class 3.
The surviving member of the gangs are now serving life sentences in prison, but for Bernard Ouma, who was the chief armorer at room 9 of Mamlaka B Hall, was jailed for 5 years, which he has since completed. This is the story of the University of Nairobi Mamlaka B Hall gangsters.